Sid.
Thanks for having me.
As much as you love the concept, a lot changed.
So much changed.
So setting changed, the age of the protagonist Cecilia changed.
Yeah. Originally, it was set in a all-girls boarding school in Ireland, and when I got my hands on the script, I knew that I needed to update it because I wasn't 16 anymore. And so started playing with ideas, and then I brought David Bernad, our producer, on, who also produced White Lotus. And I then texted Michael Mohan, our director, who I worked with on Voyeurs and Everything Sucks. And I said, hey, do you want to do a horror film? And I sent him the script, and within 24 hours, he sent me this incredible visual pitch deck. It's like 20, 30 pages of all of his ideas of how he would update the script, how he visually would shoot it, references, and it was exactly how I saw it in my mind. And he's the one who actually brought the ending as an idea.
Tease that. We're not going to ruin it, don't worry. But the ending, yeah. But talk to me a little bit about that, because that I find fascinating. So Michael Mohan, who was really instrumental in an early part of your career, that early show.
Everything Sucks. It was my first ever big show.
So the surrealness of it, the satisfaction of going back to a director that saw something in you early on and saying, hey, I got a potential job for you. That must be amazing.
Oh, I love it. You build such incredible relationships on set, and then after working together for like 2, 3, 4 months, you move on. And you hope that you're gonna see these people again. And I've been so lucky to be able to do now 3 projects with Mike. Yeah. And he also uses a lot of the same keys. So like our DP, Elijah Christian, he's also Everything Sucks, and also Voyeurs, our production designer, Adam Reamer, like he uses the same team, and Mike and Elijah were college roommates, and I'm a very loyal person too. I think it's super important in this industry, so I feel like I had my family around me.
When you kind of allude to this, I think one of the things that I appreciate of horror is when done right, like you can really lean in and pay great attention to detail, the sumptuous design of this, the setting. It feels like you can kind of like do like, you know, down and dirty horror, or you can do kind of like this like really gorgeous, kind of a throwback more to the 70s.
A lot of Mike's references were 70 infused.
Yeah. We're going to give you guys a little sneak peek. You want to take a little look at Immaculate?
Yeah!
Here is first clip. You might show a couple. We'll see if you're good. Here's a clip from Immaculate with Sydney Sweeney. Just like holding back. You know it's coming.
I love jump scares.
And you've seen this, I assume, by now with some audiences. There must be such a satisfying feeling, because this is an audience movie.
It's amazing. We premiered at South by Southwest, and it was so exciting feeling everybody's, just their excitement in the room when they screamed, and then they started laughing at themselves because they were screaming. They were cheering. It was great.
A slightly different wardrobe than you've had for other films in this
Just
one.
a little.
What is that? I mean, that must put you into a different mindset immediately.
It does. It actually, I love whenever a character has a transformative experience through her clothing. And for Cecilia, putting on the garments, like it definitely switched me over.
I love that as a producer, you used your power for good by employing some of your family members in the film.
I did.
Who's in the movie?
My grandmas. My grandmas. They're so sweet. So what's cool, my Nana, so that's my dad's mom, is actually an extra in every single one of Mike and I's projects together. And then I brought my Grandy too. I found names for them. But it was their dream to go to Italy, and their dream they've never really gone to Europe before. So for Christmas, I surprised them and I told them that they're gonna come to Italy and see me at work. And I got them.
Nice, sweet movie.
Yeah, I didn't tell them what the movie was.
You have a history of this, though, I feel like. When Euphoria premiered, nobody really knew what they were getting into, right?
I grew up in a smaller town, so like movies and TV shows aren't really their main thing. They're outside.
Sure.
So they don't know what I'm doing.
You don't come from a family of showbiz family, to say the least.
No, so far removed.
So how are they with the fame thing? Like, have they embarrassed you at parties? Have they gone up to celebrities?
I have no idea. My parents don't have social media. They just kind of have like no clue. My dad will randomly call me. I had to teach him how to put his phone on Do Not Disturb. And he gets like 100 calls while he's sleeping. And he was like, they're asking for you. Should I give them your number? I'm like, no, Dad, no. He has zero clue.
Do any family members try to steer you in like any kind of career direction? Are they like, we could do like a Pixar movie, or do like something without blood or sex, maybe?
No.
No?
No, they do question, like, so what's your next one? Can we watch it?
Right. How awkward will the next one be for me to watch?
Yeah.
So, what are your, now being a horror aficionado, having made a great horror movie in your own right, what are the things you love or don't love in horror? Like, where do your tastes run? You said you like a jump scare.
Yeah, I love a little bit of everything. But the one thing that it's not that I don't like, but I enjoy the most is it's the fear of the unknown. Like when someone is walking down a hallway and you're just absolutely terrified of anything that could jump out at any moment. I sometimes don't like showing what the character might be scared of.
Yeah, it's the anticipation.
Yeah.
Okay, let's tease around the ending without saying the ending.
Okay.
It's an intense ending, guys. And you delivered an amazing performance throughout, but especially the ending.
Thank
is like
you.
an acting feat.
Thank you.
What went into it? Again, this is cruel, I know, but like
No.
it was a taxing scene, to say the least. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you guys, when you guys see it,
Yeah.
you guys all
We're
better
all
go
gonna
see
reassemble
it.
a week from today, and we're gonna talk it through.
Yeah. So how do I?
We can say it involves blood.
It involves a lot of blood, and that was the first take that you see. So it's one long take. I want to say it's like 2.5 minutes maybe. And we set up the cameras. We were in a rush that day. And we just like blocked out where to start, go, come back. And Mike, our director, was like, do you want to rehearse it? Do you want to go through anything? I was like, no, let's just see what happens. And then
There it is.
what you guys see is what happens.
Is it true? I read somewhere that like some blood got in your eye and you were just like, keep going, basically?
So that is journalists that get things wrong. That is the scene prior when blood gets like.
Let's go back a little bit. So, growing up, as I alluded to, Spokane, no showbiz in the family. How did your parents know this wasn't just a phase? Like it wasn't going to be like acting one week, gymnastics the next. This is for real. This was like
Soccer.
Sorry.
No, literally, I was on a soccer team. I was on a snow ski team. I wakeboarded. I was on a softball team. I was on every sport you could think of. I loved it.
And
What position?
what position?
Soccer, I was forward.
Worse. But there was something different about the passion for acting. They saw that. You felt that.
Yeah, I just had a crazy imagination.
Yeah.
I would build imaginary worlds and characters, and I would put on little performances for my grandparents and my parents growing up. And they thought that it was like wanting to be a princess. They were like, this is not real, she'll grow out of it. And then this really small indie movie came to town and I found out about it. And so I put together a 5-year business plan presentation at 10 years old. What could happen if they let me audition for this movie? Because they weren't taking me seriously. So I was like, I'm gonna talk to these people like adults.
So there are 2 young actors that I know that I've talked to over the years that have basically taken that tactic. And the PowerPoint at a very young age. You and Emma Stone. Emma Stone did that too. You know that story?
No.
Yeah. You're in good company.
Oh my god, I love Emma Stone.
She did the whole PowerPoint. How do you know how to do PowerPoint at 10?
Because my dad would do a lot of them. My dad was a pharmaceutical rep. He was like, I got little things. My mom would help him.
So it's not an overnight success story after that, though, as we alluded to.
No, it took 10 years.
And I've heard you talk about this. It's a long trip from Spokane to LA.
It's a very long trip.
It's 18, 19 hours in the car?
Yeah.
So when you think about that, I mean, it's kind of moving to think, more than kind of, it's very moving to think of like the family sacrifice and kind of doubling down on your passion to say, yeah.
It's incredible. Like, I am so grateful for my parents because they truly did sacrifice so much and they believed in me before anyone else believed in me. And I owe everything to them. I would not be able to do any of this without their support of just, I mean, you guys, they would drive me after school. I would get out of school and then we would get in the car and drive all the way to LA, sleep in the car, go to an audition, and then drive all the way back so I could make school the next day. And like, that's an amazing thing.
What were you dreaming of at those ages?
Crazy roles. No, like Silence of the Lambs, like The Shining, but I wanted, like, I wanted to be the monster. Like, I was dreaming of crazy characters.
Wow. Okay, so it's inevitable. This was a long time coming.
Yeah.
Sharp Objects was a big one, correct?
It was.
This was, for those that don't remember, this is Amy Adams. This is the late, great Jean-Marc Vallée, who also did Big Little Liars, a lot of great movies, and I've heard so many actors just like loved working with him.
He was incredible.
So is that a game changer to work with not only a great director, but a director that, you know, sounds cliche, but it's true, sees you, like sees
Completely. No, Jean-Marc, he was so influential in my entire life and my career because it started from just the audition process. Like, Jean-Marc he was so thoughtful and caring towards his actors, and you can always tell that by like the casting process. And the casting director that he likes to use, his name's David, and he was one of the first people who actually like did the audition with me. I mean, I had been in so many auditions where they wouldn't look up. They were eating chips while I was doing my audition. They'd answer a phone call in the middle of it, and I just never felt like anybody cared when I walked in the room. And he actually like did the scene with me, had his lines memorized, had props, and I felt like I was, even though it was an audition, I was in this dream that I always had of being an actor, and I got to actually be that character. And then I got a call back and I got to meet Jean-Marc, and he was the exact same way. And he just like, he would sit with you and want to work on the scene with you, and it wasn't like he was sitting behind a table and taking notes. Like, he would come and sit right here and start talking about the character and the lines and the scenes. And I remember walking out of that callback and I called my mom and I was like, even if I don't get this was everything for me. Like, this was the first time that I actually felt like, this is my dream. Like, these are the people I want to work with. And ended up getting it. And it was just like 2 episodes. But I loved being on set so much that Jean-Marc ended up putting me in every episode. And even if it was just like a flash, just so I could come and be on set and learn. Because I would sit at Video Village, and his producing partner, Nathan Ross, who I work with now, they were so welcoming, and I would sit in during their lunch production meetings and just learn as much as I possibly could. It was amazing.
He must have been heartened to see. I mean, I think he was with us, I'm sure, when Euphoria had come around, to see like somebody took a shot on to bear that fruit. That's amazing.
He's
So, and when you, that's, I guess, living the dream, because you're, I mean.
Because that's what I dreamt of. When I was little, I had no idea any of this came along with acting. Like, zero clue. I didn't have a phone until I was 13, 14. Social media wasn't really an important thing. To me, the dream was being on set and playing all these characters. Honestly, if someone told me that I'd be on stages, talk shows, speaking, I'd be like, oh, I don't know if this is for me.
What are the do's and don'ts for you in social media at this point? Because you've been through it like any young actor. Like, it's rough out there, to say the least. Yes. You talk about bullying. I mean, you've been through it. How do you stay sane, stay safe, feel like you're in control on social media?
I mix up what I put out there. Like, of course, I want to share the work that I'm doing because that's what I'm really passionate about. But then I like to sprinkle in a little bit of Sid here and there so that people can see me as much as you guys can.
Sure.
It's hard. It's all hard.
Well, so then we get, of course, to Euphoria, which totally changes the game. Was it just another audition, or did it feel like, was there a buzz around what Euphoria could be by the time it came around to you, or was it just like another, next, let's see what happens kind of a thing?
No, you know, it was, no one really knew what it was going to be, and I didn't even get to go into the room. Like, I couldn't get into the room to audition. So I put myself on tape and sent it in, and then I booked it off the tape.
There's so much like lore about like how that set is and how Sam runs the set and like what the nature of it. It's like, I feel like there's a lot of mystique around it. What would you say is different and unique about Euphoria compared to the other sets that you've been on? What makes it special?
There's a lot of reasons that it's special. I mean, we're doing and playing characters that have meant so much to people. And it's the longest production that I've ever been on because each season takes like 8 to 10 months to film. So I'm getting to be with this group of people for a longer amount of time than I'm used to and actually build like, right relationships and have almost like a family in a way. Like Maud and I are best friends. She feels like my actual sister. And I'm so thankful to be able to have something like that in this industry.
It must be so amazing to go through something like that with Maud. And I know we were joking about like, musical theater the other day. She's doing cabaret and Little Shop here.
I flew to London and I watched her, and then I came here and I watched her do Little Shop of Horrors. I was so proud of her.
But it must be exciting to see like where everybody, Zendaya was already doing amazing things, but to see like Jacob Elordi, like Saltburn was the thing for a few months, like obsessed by everybody. Did you see Saltburn?
Of course. I was gonna ask you a funny question and then I decided not to.
Oh, wow, restraint. I mean, iconic, truly. Do you remember what it was like? You didn't know at the time what that was gonna be.
No, you guys, that was the first first scene back for season 2.
Wow.
Do you feel like out on a whim when you're doing a scene like that? Like, oh my god.
You fully just have to go for it. You have to trust everybody around you and just whatever happens, happens.
Wow.
I remember watching it back. I was watching it live with all of you. I was like, when did I do that? Oh my god!
You blacked out, it never happens. And you've seen a lot, I mean, obviously it's been memed to death. Brian Cox recreated it.
I know.
He did a pretty good job. It's pretty good. There's only one, Cassie. I know you can't say anything, but the hope, it's been a while. It's been a minute since you guys have been on set shooting. Look, the fans have been concerned because there have been rumors like, is it even gonna ever come back? Have you as an actor ever had that concern like, are we coming back? Are we doing more Euphoria? Curious time to get thirsty. What just happened? Are you anxious and excited? It's been, what, probably 3 years since you've been on sets. How much anticipation from the scale of 1 to 10 do you feel about getting back on set to play Cassie again? What just happened? You were talking, you were having fun.
I know. Honestly, it's like as scary as talking about Marvel, guys. I feel so big and then like went everywhere.
Okay, fair enough. Well, we're excited.
I'm excited too. I love Cassie. Like, Cassie truly is a dream to play, and as an actor, I'm so fortunate that I've had a character like her at such a young age. And of course I wanna keep living her crazy. I love it.
Just so you know, every gig does not become a giant pop culture phenomenon. This is unusual, Sydney. This is weird. I mean, that experience, again, Mike White, for those in the know, like, he's always been an amazing writer.
He is incredible.
Fascinating. But it also came at a very strange, unique time. Did making White Lotus in the thick of the pandemic kind of save you, kind of like help you, kind of like get through that crazy time?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a workaholic, so I was just so fortunate to be able to have work during such a hard time. but it was honestly a dream. Like being able to work with Mike White and Jennifer Coolidge and Connie Britton and everybody that was involved in the project and be in Hawaii, and it was really nice.
You said the character scared you. Do you mean the character itself or playing the character?
The character itself. I mean, Olivia is terrifying. I modeled her off of a lot of people I'm scared of in life.
But again, that must have just caught you off guard to see how that I mean, shows like that don't generally become phenomenons, but it for whatever reason, truly clicks. But I guess it's the specificity of his writing. He writes really human, relatable, odd characters.
Mike's very in touch with people and society, and he's just smart. He's a smart writer.
More smart writing, and this is a swerve, to work on something like Reality must have been so satisfying. I don't know if you guys have checked out Reality. If you haven't, you really should. This is an amazing performance, Reality winner. This woman who is interrogated. This is essentially a transcript. It is.
It's the actual transcript from the FBI interrogation when 2 FBI agents go to Reality winner's house, and it's the real, like, the actual transcript. All of our dialogue is pulled from that.
So talk about, like, you know, you go from sets where it's, you know, a bit collaborative, etc., and then you're 16 days, tons of dialogue. Does that feel like achievement unlocked? Like, I can work within these kind of tight confines and still find my way into a character?
It was a huge challenge for me. Yeah. I think Reality is one of the most, like when I say I like to do characters that scare me, and it's because that means it's going to be a challenge. It's going to challenge me as an artist in new ways, and that is what I should be doing. So Reality scared me because I'd never done anything like that before. I mean, we're filming like 20 pages a day, and it's just pure dialogue, and I had to make sure I had every single word correct. And everything was so close and tight, and I was telling someone's true story, and so I felt the weight of that. And it was a lot. It was a different type of process than I've ever had before, but it turned out. I'm very proud of it.
No, you should be. And again, like, these swerves are amazing, but, like, you know, it's underestimated how tough it is to lead a romantic comedy. But Anyone But You just is so satisfying. First, as much as the box office and movies are dominated by sequels, rom-coms don't often get sequels. But people want to see you and Glenn together again. And I know you guys are talking. Is your gut say it's a sequel, that it's the same characters, or you and Glenn in a different rom-com?
We don't know yet.
I mean, is that part of the debate right now, kind of?
There's so much discussion around all of it.
Yeah, I would imagine, again, $250 million makes people anxious to
there's just
talk.
people that want to do some movies together.
Yeah. What is, on a different side, and they all can't make ginormous gobs of money, what is the learning of something like Madam Web, which you're not a producer on and all, you know?
Thank you.
There you go. It's all good. But what do you take?
It wasn't that bad.
There you go.
What you should use that in some quotes.
Yeah. Put it on the DVD. What's the... What is the learning of an experience like that?
What's the learning?
Yeah, what do you take away from that?
Well, I want to like point out and the timeline of projects and explain a few things. So, don't laugh at that. Madam Web is my first ever studio project, studio film that I ever got cast in. And I am so thankful to Sony because it was such a building block for me. And while I was filming that, I was actually building the packages for both Immaculate and Anyone But You. And I then took Anyone But You out once I put the whole package together and put the pitch together. And I called up Sony and I said, hey, I have this movie. We're filming together. Let's build a relationship. And that's how Anyone But You got made. And I would never have been able to do that without Madam Web.
This is a good answer. Matt wants to know what's been the most fulfilling thing about creating your own production company. I mean, especially now that these things are actually coming out, it must be to see.
Yeah, seeing everybody's reactions to the project, but then also the relationships that I'm building. I'm getting to learn so much more about this industry, and it's not just like my fellow actors. Like, I'm understanding and gaining respect for all aspects, the grip, like transpo, like everybody that has a part of making a project come to fruition, because it's not possible with everybody. Like, you have to have every single crew member like there and happy and working hard, and so I just respect so much of what they do, and I love being able to learn and just build those relationships.
I know an important part about, especially the Euphoria experience, has been how it's connected with young audiences, right? And like the reaction you get from folks like these are on the street must be amazing. And I've heard you also say, like any actor, you don't like necessarily enjoy being compared to other actors, right? And then the irony is, of course, so many young people probably compare themselves to you because you are now such a, big force in the entertainment they see.
That's crazy.
I mean, what do you, it's real. I mean, like, what would you say to somebody that compares themselves to you, that it sees you as someone they aspire to be?
Everybody is on their own journey, and you don't want to compare your path to anybody else, because I have this thing where I've always said that I look up to the older version of myself. So I'm hoping that the decisions that I'm making now make 40-year-old Sydney proud and happy. And I've always thought that that's like really important, because I'm not doing this I'm not trying to like follow any other person's path. I'm hoping that whatever I do can fulfill me as much as possible and then spread as much good too.
Excellent. On a much more frivolous note, with the happy, sad, confused, profoundly random questions.
Okay.
You ready?
Yeah.
Dogs or cats, Sydney?
Dogs.
Woo!
Big dog.
My dad and my little brother were allergic to cats, so I didn't really grow up with cats.
Tell me about Tank. Is Tank the dog?
Tank's my best friend.
What kind of dog is
I rescued Tank when I was 17. I brought her home and my parents got really mad. But now my mom wants her all the time, so
Aww.
she is my everything. She's truly she's made my life so much better.
What do you collect, if anything?
I collect tiles.
Like,
So like hand painted, he's so confused. You guys are all confused. Trust me, everyone's confused. Whenever I travel, I like to try and find hand painted tiles of whatever city I'm in, because I want to collect them and make like a big, huge wall. And so at the end of wherever I am, whatever country I'm in.
Can I do an acapella right now?
No, I'm not.
You commit, I bet. I'm not saying you have to do it now, but you commit in karaoke, like
You have
anything
to.
else, right? Yeah. What's the worst note a director has ever given you? You don't have to name names, just... or you can name names, actually.
Pass.
Oh, okay. In the spirit of happy, sad, confused, an actor that always makes you happy, you see them on screen, I'm in for a good time.
The Property Brothers. I love HGTV.
Some of our finest thespians, the Property Brothers.
Are they considered actors? I mean, they're probably in SAG.
Right. To the letter of the law, sure. A movie that makes you sad.
Titanic. But then also makes me want to fall in love.
Was that your idea to get that into anyone but you? That must have been a moment.
I was like, Will, I love Titanic so much.
We gotta get it in there.
And he put it in there for me, and I was so happy and so excited. But Joe's line of when we go over and he goes, looks like they went full Titanic. That was all Joe. He's so funny. He's so hilarious.
Well, your buddy from Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I'm sure Leo, did Leo text you afterwards like you did it? You killed it?
I was gonna make a joke, but I can't.
I mean, there's still some actors, the ones we grew up with, that are still like, how can I share space with that human being, I suppose, right? And finally, food that makes you confused.
Food that makes me confused.
You don't get it. What's up with that?
I've never thought about.
What food don't you like? What's your like Achilles heel?
Well, I'm not the healthiest of eaters.
Okay.
So like, I had pasta earlier. I'm gonna go eat some burgers after this. Probably some ice cream. Yeah, some burgers. Yeah. Like eat ice cream all the time, cookies. So anything that's not
Gonna help your life in any way.
Yeah.
I'm with you. I support.
Yeah. I just be happy.
Yeah.
Even makes you feel good.
There you go. Words of wisdom from the great Sydney Sweeney.
Yeah.